go to the guy that got killed the most. Omar Cooper Jr.
This is my favorite
saved.
pick. This is my favorite
Yeah,
pick in the whole draft. I love
yeah,
it. I was high on him in our previous videos.
yeah.
It totally fills the void of Walker leaving on an offense that runs the football and all right, welcome back to the desk.
Welcome back, baby. Friday morning after the first round of the NFL draft.
Absolute madness.
So
Mad.
overall, where are you? Because I feel like you were like close to DEF CON 1 or 2 last night. Like you were really, really upset.
I mean, well, from a fan of the Commanders, very happy. From a
Oh, of
fantasy
course.
football observer and participant, I think it's probably the worst possible draft that I've seen.
Interesting. Okay. I wasn't quite as low on it, I don't think, as you are, but let's just go through the players. We'll start with the first pick,
Yep.
go down to the end of the first round with the fantasy relevant guys, and we'll see maybe how we thought they went relative to expectation,
Yep.
and then what it means for your rookie pick values at the moment. We
Yep.
won't do our real rankings until after everybody's got a landing spot.
Yep.
Let's kick us off. What did you think about Mendoza?
Uh, Totally expected, right? I would have been shocked if the Raiders would have taken anybody else. Um,
Yeah, I
we'll
think
see
we
how he
knew the
does.
situation he's going to. He went to that situation. That's
Yeah.
all you can say.
First big surprise was with the number 3 pick in the draft.
Okay.
So
Jeremiah Love to the Cardinals shocks you a little bit.
it was just earlier than I was anticipating. I mean, the as an Algier owner, I was super pissed, right? But Arizona, I think, is just a very up in the air situation. I think they need a lot of pieces, so I was surprised that they went with a running back,
Yep.
number 3 pick in the draft. But if he's as dynamic and as awesome as people are going to say, I'm sure he'll be fine at the Cardinals. It's just, at one point people were saying, oh, he could slip maybe the Commanders at 7, right? So I thought the Cardinals was just a high pick.
Yeah, from a draft capital perspective, he's now the behind Saquon Barkley, like the
Yeah.
only running back to go top 3 since like the 90s or something crazy. So
Yeah.
the draft capital's there. I would have liked the Titans landing spot maybe 5% better than the Cardinals. And if he was going to go to one of those two teams, it doesn't change for me that he's going to be the 101
Yeah.
in rookie drafts.
Right.
Pick
So
4 though, Carnell Tate to the Titans. Tell me about this. Does this solidify Carnell Tate as your wide receiver 2, or were you upset to see this?
I mean, I think he's going to be wide receiver 1 at the Titans.
Yep.
I still don't really know what that means,
Yep.
right? So here's my thing, and we're gonna go through but I don't know how the players are gonna do. Nobody ever does, right? We have sure
Yep.
things that bust. We have dark horses every draft.
Yep.
The teams that the players ended up on are just so bad historically that,
Yeah.
so like I think Cardinal Tate could be a great wide receiver,
Yep.
unproven quarterback, bad offensive line. What's the running game? So it's just like, what's his situation going to be in Tennessee? I think
Yep.
first year, low expectations, very low expectations until they can get a few more pieces to maybe make him successful.
Yeah. I mean, it's what, Wandale and him there now for Cam Ward.
Yeah.
It's an upgrade from Alec Manor
Yes.
and Chimere DK, or however his name is
Yeah.
pronounced. Gunnar Helm is a second-year tight end.
Mhm.
I think this offense will be a bounce back from last year, but I don't think it's going to be like a top 10 offense.
Right.
Um, I I don't I would agree that none of the top 3 wide receivers, Tate, Tyson, or Lemon, went to like the 49ers or somewhere where they could just shine.
Yeah.
But you always know if a player is going to go top 10, they're going to go to a bad team. That's just
Right.
how it works.
But again, there were draft scenarios where they were saying Carnell Tate could be a Commander.
Yeah, it could have been a commander. They could have been playing for the Chiefs, but
Heck, even
outside
like
of
the
that niche
Giants or something,
scenario,
right? Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
draft capital at 4,
Yes.
super promising. And I don't hate Ward
No.
coming into year 2. So I would say these picks 2, 3, 4
Hmm.
are sort of going to be valued similar to where they were before. Nobody got that elite spot, so pick 102 didn't jump up much in value.
Right.
I would still probably prefer George Pickens. I no longer, though, would prefer Chris Olave or Garrett Wilson to
Right.
those guys.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
and let's go ahead and hop down then. Tell me about Jordan Tyson at 8 to the Saints.
I'm fine with that. I mean, I think it, could have been Tate initially, but I didn't see too much difference between like a Tate and a Tyson. I think he's going into a decent situation with Olave there. Your quarterback seems like he could be promising. The Saints division, all in all, isn't that hard.
Yep.
So I think he could be a really solid addition and have year one impact. So I was
Yeah.
fine with this landing spot.
Yeah, I think last year it was Tet that went 8 to the Panthers.
Mhm.
I would prefer Tet at the Panthers to Tyson at the the Saints, just
Yeah.
because we sort of know what Tet is, but don't hate it. Don't hate it at all.
No.
For me, the surprise of the entire draft was Ty Simpson 13 to the Rams.
Did you see McVay's interview about this too? He was
No, I
so
did not.
pissed. He was so pissed. Oh,
Oh, I mean, to be fair, he was borderline very tippy edge of the first round for me or a second round pick.
mhm.
So this was the best draft capital he could get,
Oh, yeah.
the best landing spot he could get by far. The only thing that could happen for him is Stafford retires and McVay retires at the same time, and the organization just like collapses. But I
Yeah.
think with where some of these other guys went, he's actually probably going to end up as like my 8th or ninth player off the board rather than my 12th or 13th guy off the board.
If I'm in a rebuilding situation or even middle of the pack, but with aging quarterbacks situation, I would love the pick in the
Yeah.
first round of a rookie draft. I mean, he's in a great situation to learn for a year behind one of the best quarterbacks of our generation
Yep.
and with an offensive guru. So,
I
uh,
mean, both of them, both he and Mendoza look like they're going to sit for some period behind a veteran. I
mhm,
would expect Simpson to sit until Stafford retires
yes,
and Mendoza to take over for Cousins.
right.
But I think they both will sit. And yeah, it's just best draft capital he could have asked for, best team he could have asked for, best situation. I was thinking this would be like the Cardinals or the Jets
Mhm,
trade to the end of round 1
and
and
pick him.
take him to get the 5th year option.
Yeah.
That would have been a disaster.
But yeah, for him, dude, congratulations. Wow.
Yeah. Speaking of the Jets swooping in and ruining picks, though,
Well,
number 16, Kenyon Sadiq to the Jets.
I want to wish him a great career. I'm sad it came to a close so soon. It's very disappointing, but like, hey man, first round pick. You'll be able to hang your hat on that one day and the millions of dollars that you're gonna make.
I mean, all right, let me try to make a case.
Before you make a case, I just want one thing to sit in your mind. Who was the
Yeah.
last Jet to be successful?
Brees Hall in 2021, 2022, whenever
Yep.
he had his top 5 running back finish.
Yeah.
No, it's a bad situation. The
Yeah.
Jets do have 6 first-round picks between 2026 and 2027. They've spent so far all of them on offense. I expect them to spend at least one next year on a quarterback.
Yeah.
It's conceivable that the Jets aren't terrible forever, and tight ends do tend to hold their value. So,
Yeah.
as a rebuilder, if Kenyon Sadiq is sliding to the 108, the 109, the 110
Mhm.
in your rookie draft, especially if it's tight end premium league,
Mhm.
I'm okay with it. It might be a good opportunity if you were a contender and you've got pick 109 and he falls there. If you can now trade that pick for a real asset from a rebuilding team, they can
Right.
get Sadiq. You can get a competitive asset. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, in general, bad
Terrible
landing
landing
spot.
spot.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I honestly, it's
So
worse
bad.
than Miami.
Yeah.
Not for a wide receiver. Miami would have been the worst spot.
Yeah.
But for a tight end, I think they already have Mason Taylor.
Who
It's
had a
just
good
so
year?
bad.
Who had a
I
good
know.
year?
It's so bad.
Like, it
But not everything is bad. Turn the page. Pick 20. The Eagles trade up for Mekhi Lemon.
this is an interesting situation, because A.J. Brown's gone. As far A.J.
Yeah,
Brown's
let's
gone,
just treat it
right?
like AJ Brown's
So
gone.
they need a wide receiver one.
Yep.
Here's my thing. Two things. One, this dude has major injury history. Like, legitimate injury
A
history.
Lemon's injury history is not as bad as Tyson's, I don't
That's
think.
true. That's true. That's my fault. Yeah. But this dude's bread and butter is over the middle of the field.
Yes.
That's like Jalen Hurts' no-fly zone is the middle of the
Yep.
field. It's gonna be interesting to see how he pans out
Yep.
because the Eagles have had the benefit the last few years, and they still do with Saquon, but they control what they want to do, and all else fails, they have A.J. Brown who can go do whatever, wherever on the field. I don't know. Like, it's just gonna be interesting. I think they'll be able to use them. I think it's probably of the receivers, one of the better landing spots because they don't have a wide receiver one,
Yep.
and they're a really good team. But
His draft capital was not as high as I thought it was gonna be. I thought Mekhi Lemon was gonna be picked around 13 to
Mhm.
15.
Yeah.
I guess the teams at 14 and 15 didn't really need a receiver that bad, but still, I thought that's sort of where he'd go. Slipping to 20 is a little concerning, but the Eagles clearly wanted him. They
Yeah.
gave up quite a bit to move up just a few picks
One
to
spot,
take him
right?
from the
One or two
Steelers.
spots. Yeah.
They moved up from 23 to 20 or 22 to 20, something like that. But they gave up like multiple fourth and fifth round picks or something like that
Mhm.
to get there. Um, where would you right now have Tate, Tyson, and Lemon in your rankings? Just knee jerk.
Like, if I were picking right now by
If
the
you
top,
had, yeah, like picks
you
2
know,
through 4, 2
yeah.
through 5, where would you be having those receivers go?
I like Tyson at the Saints. I think it's just the best situation.
Yep,
And then I think Tate at the Titans could long term be the most successful, but that's with the assumption that Cam Ward pans out the way they need him to.
yep.
And then I would say Lemon at the Eagles. If
I
Let
would
me say this,
probably have
if
it as like,
if I were going year 1, need an impact to win the league, I think you
yeah,
take the flyer on Lemon at the Eagles because the Eagles is the best situation to be in.
true.
But if it was a rebuilder or middle, I think long term, I like Tyson's situation at the Saints, and I think Tate's situation at the Titans could be best long term.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind that, I don't mind that take. I've got them all, like, really, really close now. I thought probably coming into the draft that pick 2 would be the one guy that gets an elite landing spot,
Mhm,
3 would be the guy that gets a mid landing spot,
mhm.
and 4 would be whoever goes to the Jets or the Dolphins. And instead, they sort of all, for me, are right around that pick 103. I
Yeah,
would definitely prefer Tet. I would definitely prefer Pickens. I think they're right there with like Olave, Garrett Wilson,
mhm,
that level of value if I
mm,
was doing like a startup today.
yeah.
Let's talk about KC Concepcion to the Browns, because I think this is one where we have disagreements. I know you hate the Browns. There's
Well,
reasons to
my
hate the Browns.
my point is the same with the Jets.
Yeah.
Who was the last Cleveland Brown to be worth a damn in fantasy football? Nick
I'll tell
Chubb.
you who. Jarvis Landry as
Okay,
well. And that's who I think Casey Concepcion and his high-end outcomes could be.
okay.
He's not gonna be the 10, 15 touchdown guy. He's not gonna be ripping off 90-yard plays. But who else do they have on the entire team to touch the ball? Quinshon Judkins and Harold Fana Jr.,
Yeah.
right? It's like Jerry Jeudy after that. And Casey Concepcion, I watched him take bubble screens at NC State.
Yep,
I watched him do posts, go routes, outs, slants.
yep,
He's got the whole route tree. He gets separation. Neither quarterback, whether it's Shadur or Watson or a combo of the two, is a huge running quarterback,
nope.
at least at this point in their career. So I think they're going to take 2-3 steps back, see Concepcion open on all of the little hitches and stuff. And if he gets his 8-10 targets a game, fantasy relevant immediately. For me,
Yep.
he's above Sadiq and above Omar Cooper very, very clearly.
Mhm.
I
And
don't
I
love the
and
Browns, but
well, that's
yeah,
that's my thing. Everything you said about KC Concepcion, I agree with. I watched him rip UNC when he was at State, right? Like I think he's awesome. Where he was selected, I hate the fact he ended up at Cleveland.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
late
we would have
round, there were
loved somebody.
so
I
many
know.
other teams late
Yep,
round that he could have ended up at, and it would be like, oh baby,
yep.
Cleveland. And I know I'm gonna get hate. It's like, oh, the Browns, but like, it,
No, I don't think you get that much hate. I mean, the Browns and the Jets are both teams that'll probably have a new quarterback next year,
yeah,
but you don't wanna pick a guy with the first round pick this year
to try
who's
again next year. Like
yeah,
that's not the idea. But
yeah. I do think if you got that 107, 108 pick and Concepcion slides there, if you can flip that for a 27 first,
yeah,
I would do that.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Um, let's go to the guy that got killed the most, Omar Cooper Jr.
oh, this poor guy.
I thought
Oh,
it was gonna be the San Francisco 49ers, and this guy was gonna be in the conversation with Lemon and Tate and Tyson
mhm.
for which guy do you go with to be the man. And then I was hoping, okay, maybe the Raiders will trade up and pair Mendoza with his buddy,
Yeah.
and then it happened.
Hmm. There's not much to say. I mean,
Omar Cooper Jr. was gonna be one of my, like, surprise top 6, top 7 guys. I think right now he would be the last of the 10 picks, not because of his talent, but
no,
because of how bad that situation is now.
he's been exiled. I mean, there's
Yeah,
just no other way of saying it.
yeah. I
Like,
yeah, I don't even know between the Jets and Miami which one is a worse landing spot for a wide receiver, but 30 to the Jets is
I think wide receiver 2 at the New York Jets is about as bad as you can get.
bad as it gets. I know. Yeah,
And they still have Garrett Wilson, like wide
yeah.
receiver 1.
Yeah, I was crying
It's
a little
yeah.
bit at pick 30, but pick 32 completely
This is my favorite
saved.
pick. This is my favorite
Yeah,
pick in the whole draft. I love
yeah,
it. I was high on him in our previous videos.
yeah,
It totally fills the void of Walker leaving on an offense that runs the football and it fits his style of running. I think Price at the Seahawks is going to be like year 1, year 1
yeah.
I think he could be the most successful running back.
I don't see him
He
performing
won't be
better than
better than
Jeremiah
he won't
Love,
be better than Love. He
but
won't be better than
otherwise, yes, this is the best possible draft capital he could get,
Yes.
the best possible situation he could get. I think he and Simpson both got that treatment,
Yes.
and I'm excited to see it. Where do you have Jadarian Price right now in your overall running back rankings? I mean, we talked before about there's like the Bucky Irving range, there's the Saquon Barkley, Chase Brown range, there's the Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams range. Is he all the way up with like Amari and Hampton? Where do you see him now?
I think it I think he would be a steal in the ETN range or the Williams range. I
Yep,
like, and the reason is it seems a similar runner to a Javonte Williams, who just had a
yep,
great situation in Dallas, and so Williams's capital kind of went up some. And I see him like if he fell to that range, I think he's a between like a Barkley and that Williams range. I'm not going to throw him up with a Hampton yet,
yep,
just because I don't think he had the ability in college to show if he was an Omarion Hampton. I mean, we talked about Hampton last video. His numbers crushed in
yep.
college. I think he's a good runner. I think he's in a perfect situation, but I wouldn't put him that high yet. I think it's more of a get ETN, maybe
I would
full
agree.
month.
I think he's clearly more valuable than the ETN Javante range just because it's a similar prospect, similar um, situation. but what, 5, 6 years younger.
Yeah.
So love that. I would probably still prefer like Bucky, but
Yes.
I could honestly see based on your team build that middle group of like Barkley, Brees, Quinshawn, um, that whole sticks. CMC's in there. Depending on your team build, I don't hate him anywhere in
No.
that value stripe.
Especially if you were a non-contender, but you had a Saquon, right?
Yeah.
And you could trade for a price, and you got price and something, well, you would definitely get something. But like depending on what
Yeah.
that extra sugar was, I mean, I like that move.
Yeah. We'll have to see when we do our actual final rankings where he shakes out,
Mhm,
but I see him in that maybe 104, 105 at the earliest,
mhm.
107, 108 at the latest for sure,
Yeah.
based on his draft capital now. And that's the only thing saving that range of players after Sadiq and Cooper got they got
Jetted. Like I
jets.
got
Yeah,
jetted, yeah.
yeah. Cool. Well, we'll stop it there for now. We'll do a full rookie rankings video once we know the landing spots for everybody. I have high hopes that maybe Boston or Stowers or somebody can get a decent landing spot. Maybe Jonah Coleman goes on day 2. We'll see.
It's gotta be better than day 1, man. Trust me. Hey, guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. If you don't mind, like and subscribe below.
And if you want a free roster review, check out the Google form in the description. Your team could be featured in one of our videos. See you in the next one.